the outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
Yo, what's up? It's The Outline with Kevin Dwayne. Thank you so much for listening this week. Hope your week is going well. My week has been kind of crazy, and it's neither good or bad. I'm just off a day on everything. The podcast is a day late. My yoga session, which normally is on Monday, was on Wednesday. And just things are just off this week, and everything will go back to normal next week, God willing. Or me willing, rather, because I have to make sure everything stays that way. Remember, you can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and on my website, kevindwayne.com. Make sure you are leaving ratings and comments and downloading to your device. Continue sharing with your friends. If you have questions, comments, or just want to shout me out, feel free to hit me up on Twitter. That's The World of Kevin. On Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, actually. And you can also email me, like the olden days, at theoutlinetopics@gmail.com. So back to this crazy week. My Taurus folks are driving me crazy. I have 4 Taurus friends. I love the Taurus sign. I know I'm into astrology, but I literally manifest so many friendships with Taurus people. So my pockets are just empty right now because it's just one birthday after another. So starting on the 1st was my friend Wabi, who was on the show, I believe at the top of the year. She was the first show of the year. So go back and listen to that. We talked about being emotional and what it means and what it doesn't mean. It was a great conversation. So go back and listen to that episode. It was her birthday. Well, her birthday was on the 1st, but we didn't celebrate till over the weekend. So on Saturday, we woke up and, went to breakfast, and we had a good time catching up and just doing things. It was fun. And then that followed by me going to another friend's house way out in Union City, which is like an hour from me. Drove out there, had a good time. We had some wings and things and chilled. It was a good time. So that pushes us to Monday. My best friend Charles, who was on the show twice, he was on the show 2 weeks ago. Yep, 2 weeks ago, we talked about relationships, open relationships, monogamy. I made his head explode with my thoughts on that, and I'll get to something on that later, too. We talked about that. So his birthday was actually on the 9th, which was Tuesday, which is why the podcast is late, because I was celebrating with his ass. So Monday night, because I took off Tuesday, because I'm just that kind of friend, and I didn't want to work any damn way. I took off Tuesday. So Monday night, I drove down to where he lives. He lives about an hour from me as well. So I was like, let's turn up on Monday night, have an early week turn up. So I drove down there after work, and we had a good ass time. If you look at my Instagram, we took quite a few pictures. There was one of us doing the old Brandy dance from I Want to Be Down. Was there a name for that dance? I don't remember, but we were doing that dance, and there's a cute little boomerang on my Instagram about it. So it was me, him, and his roommate, and it was also his birthday too. So Charles lives with someone. It's a mutual friend of ours, actually, because I consider him a friend now too. His birthday is also May 9th, so we're celebrating 2 birthdays at the same time. So we were turned up. Charles was frying fish and fries, and I saved my calories the whole day because I watch what I eat. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have protein shakes all day. So tonight I can tear this down, and I did. That fish was lit. And with like catfish, it has to be seasoned just right because it can be too salty or bland. It has to be fried just right. So it's, has a little crunch, but not too, hard or not too soft. He fried the fuck out of that fish. It was so damn good. And they're like these big ass thick pieces of meat. So we had that. I got them a cake, and at midnight we cut it, and then we were like, okay, it's time for bed because none of us are young. So after that, went to bed. And it was a good ass time. So the next morning we woke up, and that was when we were gonna, go out into the city and have a good time. Now, the day started off a little rough on the energy side, and this is why, without, spilling too much of someone else's business, but just give you a little background on why it was crazy. The ex of the roommate showed up. And he was there to get like the rest of his stuff from the home. Now, when we were told this, my mind instantly said, now, why the fuck would an ex pick someone's birthday to come pick up their stuff from a house? Like, this sounds ultra petty. I feel like this is going to go downhill really quickly. And when I tell you I was fucking right, oh, I was so fucking right. That motherfucker, he was there calmly. We didn't even know he was there for a good 15, 20 minutes. We were just chilling, having coffee in the kitchen. And, you know, and then the mutual friend came in and he was calm and he was like, oh, yeah, no, he's getting his things. You know, we're cool. Once he's done, we'll hit the streets and go about our day. We're like, okay, cool. No problem. So this motherfucker comes in the kitchen and I don't know if it was just too much energy in that kitchen or what, but he just starts going off on a tangent about stupid shit, like stupid shit. And it triggered me. I said, this nigga has to be a Scorpio because I have felt this shit before. He has to be. There is no way he is not. He started going hard when he saw that there were friends in the kitchen, like hard. He started calling dude all types of names, all kind of names. Like it just got really, really, really disrespectful. So me and Charles are like, okay, ready to go upstairs and get dressed? I said, yes, let's go. So we went upstairs promptly and he's getting louder and louder, cussing, like going off, like you stupid this and that, and I helped you. Like just, it was just petty of all petty. And I'm like, what kind of motherfucker would come to somebody's house on their birthday and try to fuck up their day? A petty motherfucker. Like that's exactly what it is. It triggered me so much. Like I felt like I was reliving something and I was like, yeah, this ain't working. Like, nah. And this shit went on for a cool hour. It went on for like an hour. We're literally like, oh my God, can this nigga just please, like, oh my God, do something, like please. So he's carrying on. I'm ironing my clothes and I'm showering and, you know, getting ready. And we're just kind of talking amongst ourselves. And like, okay, well, we're just going to hit it, you know. So the other friend was like, nah, I'm going to go with you guys. Fuck him, whatever. We're like, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up just leaving. And I think we left the dude there. Yeah, we left him there, which was funny as fuck. So we ended up going out to eat. And while we were at lunch, I asked the guy, I said, by any chance, I was like, what was his sign? And he was like, Scorpio. I said, I fucking knew it. That kind of petty and that kind of vengeance and meanness only comes from that motherfucking sign. Oh my God. I just felt it. Like it was too much. I was like, if I had any inclination to be in a relationship, that shit killed it for me. That shit triggered so much in me that I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm cool. Like, I'm cool. Like, relationships are so hard, and I know all of them aren't like that, and some are you know, easier than others. But here's the thing. When you're in a relationship with somebody, at a certain point, you're going to bump heads because you are two humans. You're bringing two histories together and meeting in the middle. There's going to be disagreements. And I think my biggest thing is how people handle disagreements. Some people get really petty. Some people get really, really immature. Some people don't know how to communicate properly. And it just, I don't want to experience any of that shit again. Ever again. And come to fucking find out, we probably could have died because apparently dude had a gun on him when he showed up and he was like, oh, put your gun back in the car. Like, it's not that kind of party. Like, I was like, we could have died. Like, we could have died. And yeah, nah, it was just too much for that morning, but whatever. So we got through that morning. And so by like noon, we were having lunch. We went to Delia's, what is it? Chicken sausage stand. Whatever. It was a chicken sausage stand. We had a cool little meal there. Then we went to World of Coke, went through that real quick. Then after that, went back to the house, chilled a little bit, drank a little bit. Then we went to dinner at this spot called Chamagacha. Chamagacha is in Buckhead, and basically it's a Brazilian restaurant with no menu. You get there, and what happens is they have a salad bar. And they get your drinks. They have a drink menu, so you order drinks, and then you go to the salad bar. You go get little sides and stuff, salad, and they had like avocado and sun-dried tomatoes, mozzarella, little things that can be paired with meat. So you get your plate, then you go to the table, and they give you these little cards, a little square card. It says yes, more please. The other one says no, thank you. And when you turn it up to yes, more please, motherfuckers just come out with these big ass metal rods filled with meat. And they have like, and they just come and just load it on your plate. They have like chicken, and they have like prime rib. They have beef ribs. They had filet mignon. What else did they have? Lamb steak. Like, there were just so many different cuts of meat. So we grubbed down on every type of meat possible. They had shrimp. I don't eat shrimp, so I had to pass on that. But we were so goddamn full when it was over. But it was a cool little experience. So we did that. And at this point, it was like 5 of us, and this is still for Charles's birthday. And then after we left there, we went to Daiquiri Factory and had a drink and just talked to end the night there. I came home. I passed the fuck out because I was filled. I was so full. I was like, yeah, I gotta go to bed. And then the next morning I was like, okay, which led us to Wednesday, because I could have done this podcast yesterday, but I just didn't have it in me. So yesterday I went running because I wanted to just get all that food out of my system. And then I caught up at work. And then what did I do? I did yoga yesterday as well. And I just said, you know what? The podcast will come out on Thursday. So that brings us here. So now we're all caught up. And then what did I do? So this weekend is my cousin's birthday. And she's also having a housewarming because she just bought her first home, which is a beautiful home, and I'm excited for that. So that's happening on Saturday. And then next week is my friend Elliot's birthday, and that's going to end out the Taurus season. So lots of fun this month. Like I said, I love my Taurus folks, but the month of May feels like Christmas. Like I'm just... just broke. But it feels good to be able to celebrate friends. Like, I love being around my friends on their birthdays and just having a good time and just being there, just being in the present, because none of them really ask for anything. And that's the thing. Like, it's not required that I give them a gift or anything, but at the same time, I just want to show appreciation for the friendship. And that's by me being present and just being thoughtful. It doesn't take much at all. So there's that. I don't want to give off that impression, but it feels good to just celebrate. So that. And another update on me, because we talked about this before. So a while ago, there's been 2 separate episodes. I did one episode, I think it was called I'm Not Prepared, and I was talking about prep. And then there was another episode where I talked about getting tested and then, considering it. Well, just to give you guys an update, I decided to go on prep and, try it out for a year just to see how it goes or whatever. So I went through the whole process, and today is day 4 that I've been on the medicine. I'm going to tell you about the process. So, number 1, why I changed my mind on it. Well, if you go back and listen to the show, I'm Not Prepared. And then there's another show, it was like maybe a month ago. It was the week of May, the last week of April. No, the last month of March. Oh my God, I'm talking stupid. The last week of March. And it was the one where I was talking about getting tested and my reasons for not getting on prep. Well, after I talked about it, I had some prep ambassadors reach out to me and kind of ease my mind on some things. And I thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Mario. And there's a couple other people who were like, oh no, I can tell you anything you need to know. And so they kind of eased my mind on it. And then I also knew of this prep clinic called Mr. Positive Impact. It's actually in Midtown, and they were amazing. And I'll tell you why they were amazing. So anyway, after my biggest thing was organ function. I have no problem with taking the medicine, but my biggest thing was just like I didn't want my liver and kidneys to suffer from taking this medicine and then 15 years later, have some issues. Well, someone said, well, they check that when you go, they check that periodically just to make sure you're good. So, that's something to consider. And then over years of time, you can look at people who are HIV positive taking the medicine, they're fine as well. So a lot of people ease my mind on the whole situation. So I said, you know what? Let me check it out. Let me try it. So it began with me calling the Mr. Center because I didn't want to go through my primary care physician because honestly, I feel like they aren't as knowledgeable as they should be, which means I probably should get another doctor. Like, I like her, but I don't think she knows what she needs to know because she's the type of person you have to ask her for an HIV test. You have to ask her for STD tests. And I feel like you should just be on that, especially knowing that I am sexually active. Like, you should just, like, that should just be a thing. But, whatever. It could just be the area that I'm in because it's also down the street from my house. So it's out of convenience too. So anyway, I called the Mr. Center, made an appointment. There's a guy there named Sean. He's like the director. So he handles all of the PrEP clients. So we scheduled it, and I think I had an appointment the next day. Yeah, it was the next day. I called I apologize. It was 2 days later. I called on a Monday, and my appointment was for Wednesday. So that Wednesday I went. This was about 3 weeks ago because I want you to hear the timeline. So 3 weeks ago, I went to the office. And we just talked about the whole situation and stuff like that. They let me know that they will do full blood work. So basically, they test you for HIV. They do it with the Insta test, which is less than 5 minutes. That's the one where they prick your finger, and literally in like 2 minutes later, you'll know if you're negative or positive. And then they do a full blood draw, and they test you for chlamydia, gonorrhea, hepatitis C, hepatitis B, syphilis, and a host of other things. They check your liver function, your kidney function. It's literally a full physical and full lab work. So they did full lab work on me. They swab your throat, they swab your butt. They took any liquid I had in me, they took that day. So it was about an hour of just blood drawing and all that stuff. And it wasn't as bad. I know some people were like angst about that, but it felt good to know that they were going to check everything. And I thought to myself, see, my doctor, though they do blood work, is never this detailed. And I have an issue with that because I'm like, I have to go to a clinic for them to do all this craziness. So we did the full blood work or whatever. And they're like, okay, so this was going to happen. It'll be about a week and you'll come back. And, providing that everything is negative and you're clear, we'll then have you meet with the physician, and then he'll prescribe you PrEP for a month. And I was like, okay. So I went home. A week went by. After that week, they called me and said, okay, your blood work isn't back, which I knew it wouldn't be back because blood work always takes a fucking long ass time. It doesn't matter where you go. Blood work always takes long. So I was like, yeah, you're pushing it by this week. So they called and was like, okay, let's have you come in on Monday. And I was like, no problem. So I think it wasn't Monday, it ended up being like Wednesday again because I had a meeting. So that following Wednesday, which brings us to last week. Yep, it brings us to last week. I went in and I met with the physician. He was so freaking cool. His name was Gary. And I'm telling you the names in case you're in Atlanta and you want to go to this place. I highly recommend it. Like, I truly, truly, truly loved everybody there. They handled me well. They answered any question that I had. It was just really, really dope. Like, I really, really enjoyed them. And they walk you through the entire process with insurance and everything. So there's that. So I met with Gary. And he was the physician, so we went through all my blood work. Everything was good, and then he went through the medicine, talked about possible side effects and things like that, things to look out for, shit like that. Then he continued the physical by checking to see if I had any, history. They got to go through medical history, signs of heart attack, signs of stroke. He checked like my eye muscles. Like, it was a thorough physical, and I appreciated that. It was really great. So at this point, he said, you're all good. I'm going to prescribe you for 30 days. They handled all my insurance stuff. So with PrEP, a lot of people have asked me, who I've talked about it with, it's like how the pricing works. Now, it's not an inexpensive medicine by any means. Like, it's pricey even with insurance. I have medical insurance, and that even with my insurance, I had to reach a certain deductible for the year before it became reasonable. And I think I had to get through two of those prescriptions before it would drop down. But every insurance is different. So this is what I'll say though. Don't let that keep you from going, because they have several programs there that they can get you in for medical assistance. So just to give you a ballpark of what I was dealing with my current insurance, which I have really good insurance. Like, I love my insurance actually. Like, I haven't had any issues with it so far. Um, with my current insurance, they were saying that it would be, until I reach my deductible, because I haven't reached my deductible for the year yet, it would be like in the 300 per fill. And I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me right now? $300 for a daily bill? Oh my God. And so the clinic told me, they're like, don't fret, just get the price and we'll work with you. I said, okay, cool. So I tried to keep it together. So they told me it'd be like $300. Now, side note, my pharmacist did not know about PrEP. They were like, oh, they have this for preventative now? That concerned me. I need people in the industry, like medical industry, to know more, like learn about it. So, like, please. So anyway, that was a whole nother thing. So they said it would be like $300 twice before I met my deductible. And then once I met my deductible, it'd be like $50 or something like that. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I took that information back to the clinic and they were like, okay, cool. They gave me a Gilead is the maker of Truvada, which is the PrEP pill. They make it. So they gave me a Gilead coupon copay card, or copay coupon card, whatever. So what happens is, when I go to get my medicine, I give that to the pharmacy and it covers my cost completely. So actually the medicine is free. So that is awesome. And I guess every year I just continue getting that card. So I was like, okay, dope. So depending on if you have insurance or not, they have different programs. If you don't have insurance, they have a program for you. If you're on Medicare, they have it for you. Like, don't let that keep you from going. Like, they have some really great programs there. And I guess it's just through that clinic. So that was that. So they helped me work that out. Also, and they walk you through the whole thing because they're very familiar with it. With my insurance, they make me get it through a specialty, because mine is through CVS Caremark. So I can't just go to a pharmacy to get the medicine. It has to be mailed to me. So I had to go through a special clinic. So when I got my prescription, which they sent to my insurance, they sent to the pharmacy called me and said, hey, you can't get this here, but we're going to connect you to the specialty pharmacy and they'll handle it. So they called me, I think they called me on Thursday. They called me on Thursday and was like, okay, cool. We got your prescription. We got your copay card. You're good on price. We're going to mail this to you. The soonest we can get it to you is on Monday, and it'll come with some paperwork, blah, blah, blah. So on Monday, it came via UPS and I started taking it. The people at Mr. Center called me. They're like, hey, did you get your medicine? I was like, yes. They're like, okay, cool. We're going to check on you in about a week just to see how you're doing, if there's any side effects, stuff like that. I'm like, thank you. They've been very, very helpful. So I really, really like it. If there's a survey, I'm going to take it. I'm totally going to advocate for it's the Mr. Center. It's under Positive Impact, and they're located in Midtown. They were so great. They handled me so well, and they were super nice, super efficient, and just the check-ins and stuff like that is super dope. So I started taking the medicine on Monday, and I'm doing it super like old school. Like, I went and got me a pill box for the week, so I make sure I'm taking it every day at the same time, because you have to take the same day at the same time, because 24 hours, and then you have like a 2-hour period. I also have this app on my phone called Round. And so I'm using Round to just remind me to take it, every day. As far as side effects, so far so good. Honestly, the first day I kind of had like a little like skin irritation where I was like itching. And then Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday, nothing. Today, so far so good. And yeah, everything else feels normal. So I think we're good so far. And they say if there are any side effects, it will be in the first 2 weeks, and that's it. So, yep, everything's kind of back to normal. I think my body just had to get acclimated to this medicine that's in my body. So, yeah, so I am trying PrEP. And I just wanted to kind of explain that because I know I talked about it on the show 2 other times. But thank you to all the people who kind of eased my mind and encouraged me to try it, because now I'm trying it and I feel good about it. It's like an extra layer of protection, and I just feel a lot better about the situation. So, it's cool. So now it's time to find me somebody to have sex with. No, I'm kind of joking, but it's nice to know that I just have that extra layer. Like, I have my condom on, and I know if anything happens, we're good. Like, I feel good about the decision. And so what happens is now every 3 months for the first year, I go back for testing just to make sure everything is good. And I think after that first year, it goes to like every 6 months, or it just goes back to a more normal rate. But for the first year, they want to make sure your body is doing well with it and stuff like that. So that's that. That's my update on that. So whatever. What else is going on in the world? Okay, so as far as I can see in what we gonna call this segment, what y'all lying about this week? And speaking of lying, everyone's dragging Phaedra. I did Phaedra Parks from Real Housewives. I believe the last episode of the reunion came on last Sunday. I don't watch the show. I talked about it before anymore. I used to watch it faithfully, but I just got over it because I feel like we keep it's the same shit every year. It's the same shit every damn year. Like, and then every year y'all hate somebody different. It used to be Kenya, so this year is Phaedra. Apparently Phaedra lied on Kandi something about rape, and then Portia was involved too. Because I keep seeing the memes about frickin' frack, and frickin' frack is Portia and Phaedra apparently. So everyone's dragging Phaedra. My only comment on this is I hate how quick we are to be hateful. I've noticed that in society in general, we love to drag people. We love to drag people. We love to tag them and be messy and all this. And I hate this whole crucifixion witch hunt thing that we do when someone falls from grace, because we like them one week and we completely hate them the next week. Like, it's trash. Like, it's absolute trash. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Speaking of lying, since we're on that whole thing, Bow Wow, formerly known as Little Bow Wow, he posted a picture. I guess he was traveling to New York for his show. I think he's on something of hip hop, some hip hop show, Next Generation, some shit. I don't know. It's a hip hop show. And he was doing a press tour for it. So he posted this picture of a private jet and like this, fancy vehicle pulling up to it. Like, oh, I'm about to head out. Well, somebody on his flight and on a commercial flight posted a picture of him and said, okay, this nigga just posted this shit on Instagram, but he's on my flight and he's right here. Here's a picture of him. So everyone started dragging him, and because he lied about it. Now, Bow Wow, somebody that I don't understand like how his mind works. But then again, it's not my mind, so why do I need to understand it? But I don't know if he does this shit on purpose so that people can speak negatively of him, because maybe he thinks like any press is good press. Maybe he gets a kick out of just being talked about, no matter if it's good or bad, because lately it's been a bunch of L's for him. Like, it's always an L when you hear Bow Wow's name. But maybe he just likes seeing his name trend no matter what. Like, it can just be bad. At least they're saying my name. Because once upon a time, Bow Wow was a big thing. But that was like, me and him are a year apart. We have the same birthday, March 9th. And he was born in 87. So, let's see. That was like 17 years ago. 16 years ago. Yeah, that was like 16, 17 years ago that he was big. So it's kind of like, I guess fame is really is an addiction. Like, he just wants people to speak of him. But back then, girls and guys loved Bow Wow, Little Bow Wow. Like, he was a huge like child star, and no one will take that away from him. But now it's just corny because he's 30 now. It's like, grow the fuck up. But yeah, so he got dragged for that. So that was another thing. Speaking of other things I don't understand, TLC, or more like TC, they had an interview with someone recently, and then Chili, they started talking about politics, which I'm just so tired of people asking celebrities about politics. Like, just leave them the fuck out of it. Like, stop. Chili pretty much said all lives matter. Not pretty much. She said all lives matter It's not just Black lives, it's all lives. And she did that same fucking rhetoric that she should have known better. Like, bitch, have you not been paying attention to what happens when people say all lives matter? Like, have you just not at all? So she said all lives matter in an interview, and I just kept scrolling. I was like, I'm not doing this right now. But I don't get like how, like, TLC, you guys have been in the game almost 30 years. You're like three years shy of 30 years. You guys have made it thus far without being in any shit. Why pick now when you're a veteran? Like, you guys are legends. You guys are icons when it comes to like pop music. TLC's fucking like, what are you talking about? Like, they're everything. But like, why now to put your foot in your mouth? Like, why now? And Chili's old weird ass. We knew she was weird when she had that goddamn show when she was trying to find a man and she had these unrealistic ass standards of what that man was. So we already knew there was trouble in paradise then. But why would you say that shit knowing that, first of all, Black Lives Matter, we have to go over this again. Black Lives Matter does not mean those are the only lives that matter. It means Black Lives Matter too. Because why? Police are killing Black lives and no one gives a fuck. Like, literally, we aren't valued. Yes, other lives matter too. But the problem is everybody fucking knows those lives matter. They don't realize that Black lives actually matter. So for you to fucking be Black and get on this goddamn show or whatever and say some stupid shit after all that has happened, it's just trash. And it's, oh my God, like, I just, woosah. I'm not going to go and burn your CDs. I'm not going to say fuck TLC, but that was just a dumb moment for you, Chili. It was a dumb ass moment for you. And I'm so tired of you motherfuckers trying to cape for white people or the white vote or whatever by saying this shit. We know that all lives matter. The problem is Black lives don't matter enough. That's just it. That is just fucking it. And if you cannot get that, shut the fuck up. Just shut the entire fuck up. Next. I guess all that's left was the whole Trump thing. Like, forgive me. I haven't been watching Trump shit because all he's doing is fuck up anyway. Like, I just pay attention to say, okay, can we live again today? Okay, cool. I'm going to live this day because it's too depressing. So he fired, at the recommendation of the Attorney General, Trump fired James Comey, who was the FBI director. Now, this is fishy because the director was actually investigating the whole Russia connection. So it's interesting how you fire that person. Now, Mike Pence's lying ass said, oh no, it had nothing to do with the Russia investigation. It was more, we wanted to reinstate the faith of the law enforcement agency, so we got rid of the director so we can start fresh. Shut your lying ass up. Just shut up. Just shut up. So that happened. So everyone's going in about that. What else is going on? There was a whole Betsy DeVos. She spoke at Bethune, which is dumb because it's an HBCU and she wants to defund most HBCUs and shit. So who decided that? Like, what planners thought that would be a good idea? And how come no one on her team told her that would be a terrible idea? So the students, when she came on stage, they booed her and they turned their seats around, which is pretty epic. I would have walked out. Just mail me my degree. Like, just mail it. Because that just stupid. Just stupid. I feel like people just want attention. Like, there's no way in hell anyone thought that was a good idea. They just wanted to put some attention on the school. That's it. That is it. Because there's no way in hell you just sat there and said, oh yeah, Betsy will be a great speaker for the commencement. Get the fuck out of here. Nope. Not going to do it. Not going to believe it. Can't do it. So that's that. And final, before, we wrap this shit up, I want you to consider the source. With all that is going on, consider the source. Consider where the shit is coming from. Like, when I was at the friend's house the other day and the ex was going off, I heard a lot of pain. And I considered the fact that this person's probably still in love with him. He's probably still upset. And so he's acting this way because he can't get a rise out of him. So instead of just saying, you know what, I'm still in love with you, and this is hard for me, you rather call on every name in the book and try to break shit and act the fool and do that. Consider the source. You gotta look deeper. It's more than just that. It's like, okay, this is what's happening. I look at like people who give harsh ass opinions. Like there's this one blogger who I just literally cannot stand. Not can't stand. Like he as a person seems cool, but I look at his blogging style and I realize that he has these opinions that I don't think he believes. I think he does them just to get traffic, and I think that it's literally just to be volatile. Like he just it's just I consider the source. I'm like, he's a blogger. He wants to be bigger. He wants to get traffic. He wants to be famous. He wants to, get money. Like we all want to get money. So how do you do that? I'm going to say some crazy ass shit that's going to shock you, and it goes against popular opinion and it's going to get views. Consider the fucking source. Yesterday, I posted on Facebook, I've never seen an attractive person shame others for taking selfies. And it's true. It's most of the time it's ugly niggas. Like it's ugly people or people who just aren't attractive. Like, oh, all y'all do is take selfies. Da, 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 da. I'm like, listen, those who can do. It just is what it is. I know beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but I mean, listen, some of y'all ugly and I get it. Consider the source. I look at when people have comments and they, people say rude things, especially like people that I know. That's the best because you know the source, I love to hear people say certain things. And I think to myself, I know why you're saying that. I'm not going to call you out, no. But I'm going to think to myself, like, I'm considering your decisions. I'm considering what you've been through because our experiences and that pushes our perspective. So consider the damn source. And I think that will help us to not fly off the handle when people say rude shit. Like, how can you say some shit like that? Consider the source. Think of why they're speaking that way. Like, what have they been through to make them feel that way? Like, people who have been cheated on go hard as fuck on people who cheat in general. People who are hurt. Like, if it's something that triggers you, think about how people who lose like their kids and stuff to violence, they tend to go hard on other people who commit violent acts, or they support other mothers who go through it. Why? Because they're being empathetic. And that's not a bad thing at all. Like, you can be empathetic completely, but consider the source. People push their own agendas most of the time. And speaking, consider the source, I said I would speak about a little bit earlier. So you guys know my views on relationships. We had this talk 2 weeks ago when Charles was on the show. So I was cracking up because I met this guy and he was super cool. We had a lot in common. Like, we vibed on like music. We had the same kind of views on not relationships, the same kind of views on religion. We had, like, it was dope. Like, it was really quick. We went on a couple dates. It was super, super cool. Now, we started talking about relationships, and I gave him my whole spiel on, monogamy versus open relationships and, how I can go either way. It's nothing, like, whatever, as long as we have open communication and actually talk about the shit. Well, he actually decided, like, yeah, I don't really like the fact that you look at relationships that way, so I'm not going to move forward with you. Like, I don't want to date you. And I was like, okay. Now, I was disappointed because it was selective hearing. And I've noticed that people, when they hear the word open relationship, they literally, that's all they hear. He ignored the fact where I said, I can go either way. If we're going to be monogamous, I'm going to be monogamous. All he heard was open relationship, which means you probably going to want it down the line. So he considered me a risk in the long run. He's like, I just feel like you're going to be a risk. Like, I feel like right now it'll be cool, but how do I know you're not going to come from, like, you're going to come to me and say some shit like, oh, I want to be in an open relationship. And I'm like, that's trash though, because how do you know anyone's going to do anything? Like, you have to live in the fucking present. Like, you don't fucking get to predict the fucking future. There's just no way. So I was like, listen, live in your truth. I still believe in what I believe. I'm not going to change my stance because I'm not in the Keep a Nigga program. I am subscribed from that service back in like 2010, and I'm not re-enrolling. Fuck that. I'm just not. I'm not going to change my stance to make you feel better. But I do need you to think about it. We vibe on so many different fucking levels, and you are literally saying you don't want to move forward with me because of my perspective, which actually includes multiple options rather than giving you one option and the ability to cheat. And I just don't get why people are so stuck on the fucking fairy tale and the ideal that they would rather go out and be hurt rather than have open communication with somebody. Like, whatever. But consider the source. This guy has never had a relationship before. And he's a hopeless romantic, but I am too. Well, I'm a romantic. I'm not hopeless. I am a romantic. And I had to consider that. Like, you know what? Go out, find someone to give you what you need and have the same exact perspective as you about monogamy and, and if you cheat, you die, that whole shit. Go find that. Enjoy that. And I'll see you later on or not. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say. But do that. I considered the source and realized, listen, that's live a little bit more. And then we'll talk later. But I was disappointed because selective hearing. I've never, ever said to anybody, I want an open relationship and that's the only relationship that I have. No, what I said was, it can go either way for me as long as there is communication. So if you just hear open relationship and you flee, that's your shit. But I'm not going to change my stance. I'm going to live my life. And consider that as a source. Consider me as a source. Consider me. I've been through long-term relationships. I've seen how things work. And that's the way I look at things. That's why I look at things the way I do. And I feel like it's protecting both people. But it takes a certain type of mind to see that. And I get that. And I'm going to keep on my little dating journey until I find a mind that's similar. And I'm okay with that. I am okay with that. But yeah, so thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry that the show was a day late, but I'm glad to still be able to hop on here and talk shit to y'all for a little bit. And thank you so much, everyone who listens and supports. Remember, please subscribe. SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, KevinDwayne.com. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, The World of Kevin. Thank you so much for your support. I will talk to you all next week. Peace out.